you're going to have to help me out today because I was at the game. That wasn't the game. I was at the pub, and the game was on.
Yeah.
I don't know if it says more about the company that I was in or the football team I choose to support, but I was not paying that much attention to the match
from the start. Or
well, yeah, but it was. I'd already had like 3 pints by then, and it was. I was very merry.
Having a lovely time.
It was very warm, and the game was on. It was sort of incidental to the evening, which didn't turn out to be a bad thing. I was worried because it wasn't the point of the evening to go and watch the match. I was worried that if it was a really good game, it would dominate the evening. But it didn't.
No, you didn't
we
have
barely.
to worry about that.
There was about 3 or 4 moments where we all looked at the screen. Obviously, we'll go through them.
Yeah.
But there wasn't. If it had been a really good second half, then it could have been a very different vibe. But
because there were a couple of non-football fans with you.
Who came on the proviso that we weren't going to the pub to watch the football. We were going to the pub when the football was on.
Yeah.
Which,
so for you, it was, get to do both at once, but then you ended up doing one much more than the other.
Yeah. Obviously, you went.
I did go to the game, yeah. Again, once we've actually started the episode, we'll talk more about the game. But I'm sure you had a much nicer evening. Again, no offence to the company I was with, our father. But the game was not enjoyable in the slightest.
Did you have a pint beforehand?
Yeah, I had 2.
Oh, wow.
Well, I didn't quite finish the second one, but most of 2 pints.
That's a successful evening then.
Yeah. It was cold though.
Well,
we have the drink outside the cricket ground, so
we haven't quite reached the level of cold where it's too cold for Andrew to have a beer, so he has to have a wine.
No,
because the volume of beer being chilled makes his hands too cold.
Yeah, you have to hold the pint for so long; your hands are really freezing by the end. I still enjoyed it that bit.
Yeah, I mean it's a tradition.
Yeah,
and you can always get in, and you can always get a beer.
Yeah,
and that's why we do it. But it really isn't an optimal experience. If it's dead sunny, it's rammed.
Yeah,
and if it's a bit rainy, then you get wet.
Yeah,
there's no tables, so you have to hold. Like if you've got a freezing cold pint, but you're in a beer garden, you can put it on the table, and it doesn't chill your hands down.
Yeah,
there aren't any tables.
Yeah, like if you went to the pub last night.
Yeah.
If someone had suggested sitting in the beer garden, that would have been a ridiculous idea. Why on earth would you want to have a drink outside?
Yes.
In the middle of November.
Yeah, if someone had suggested standing in the beer garden, then that would.
There's no tables. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no heaters. There's no tables. There's not really any shelter. It's quite open. And it's just you wouldn't pick it,
concrete.
Would you? Yeah. There's a great. I can't remember who it is. Someone has a bit about going to the football. They were like, if it was the cinema. And it's like, well, yeah, it's about 10 times more expensive. Sometimes it's rubbish. Like there's no way of knowing if it's any good or choosing whether it's going to be any good before you go.
Yeah.
It costs a fortune. You can't have a drink. You're outdoors. The weather's awful. You're surrounded by people you don't really like.
Yeah.
And you do it 30 times a season, every season.
Yeah. Yeah. You wouldn't sign up for that, really.
No, you wouldn't. It would. I mean, so it does have some people scratching their heads as to why so many people do it.
Yeah, yeah. I was scratching my own head last night as to why we put ourselves through that. But
most of the times you're scratching your head, you're scratching your own head.
I was scratching. Yeah, okay. I didn't need to say the word own.
You're not scratching someone else's head.
You might scratch a baby's head.
Yeah, or Indian head massage.
Yeah. Or a little dog or something.
Oh, yeah, a little scratch on the head.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But no, just my own yesterday. Hello, welcome back to Red Army Reaction.
You said it wasn't going to be upbeat. That is the most morose intro we've had so far.
I can't tell a lie to the audience about the energy that I'm going to bring during talking about this game.
Yeah. Well, I am also quite hungover, so that doesn't help.
Yeah, I feel like I've got a hangover from that game. Yeah, it was, as bad as it gets, really. It was
I've seen people putting
dreadful.
it alongside Grimsby.
Yeah, probably.
It's the first time United have lost a home game where the opposition's gone down to 10 men, I think.
Yeah, in the Premier League.
Possibly in the Premier League,
yeah. It's also the first time David Moyes has won away at Old Trafford.
Yeah, we referenced that last week.
Yeah.
I wonder if when we'll have a week where one of these ridiculous long-standing records doesn't fall. Many of them.
There's always one. I mean, since David Moyes was the manager, he broke a lot.
He did break a lot of teams who hadn't won at Old Trafford for 400 years, and then came and beat us 3-0 without breaking a sweat.
But there's still some left, but they'll all go in the end. Yeah. But it's remarkable that we've still got the leading at half-time at Old Trafford in the Premier League. Never lost a game.
Yeah.
No, there was no danger of that one going yesterday.
No, we would have had to score a goal at some point.
Yeah, do something good. It was, among the worst performances I've seen. The only reason it's not ranking lower is because Everton did so little. And I spent the whole last week previewing this game saying Everton are a poor side.
Yeah.
They won't. I don't expect them to turn up and do anything at Old Trafford.
No.
And that was right.
They
didn't. Are a poor side. They didn't really turn up, so to speak.
Yeah, they shot themselves in the foot early on.
They got a man sent off for slapping his own teammate, which is not something you see every day. And they didn't have to do anything at all.
Yeah.
If they'd have gone down to 10 men after that early on, and they'd sat back 10 men behind the ball and ground out a 0-0, that would have been so incredibly frustrating because they'd not tried to attack at any point.
Yeah.
And all they'd done was defend, and we couldn't break them down. The fact that they managed to win the game, despite not really trying to win the game, is quite remarkable.
There wasn't. There was no siege. There was no them. Battening down the hatches at any point. Really, they were quite comfortable for a lot of it.
Yeah.
A few pot shots. I think again, it's all about context. Really, I think there is a world in which you can have that game where they go down to 10 men, they score a good goal, a high quality goal. And United cannot get the goal to equalise, and Pickford makes loads of good saves.
It just won't go over the line.
And you come out of it and you think, how on earth have they won that game?
What more could we have done?
We threw everything at them. And I don't think that's that bad as a thing to have happened. It's a shame.
Yeah.
But it could happen to anybody.
Yeah, and you can write it off maybe as not your day.
No, that wasn't what that was last night.
No.
That last night was... Yeah, like you say, as bad as it gets in terms of a application of an idea and commitment to an outcome. There was just none of it.
Yeah, it was the best word to describe our performance is pathetic because, like I say, Everton didn't have to do much. We didn't pepper the goal. We didn't knock on the door, so to speak. The keeper didn't have to he made a couple of good saves, but we just gave them so many goal kicks. All Everton had to do from the minute they scored the goal was waste time. Yeah. And I don't blame Everton for anything they did in that game.
Absolute respect for
they've had 10 men for basically the whole game away at Old Trafford. They've managed to score a goal. You're going to waste as much time as you can.
Yeah,
we let them do it. We gave them so many goal kicks and soft free kicks, and we just didn't look like scoring really. We had a couple of half chances towards the end. Pickford made one really good save.
Yeah,
from the Xerxes header. Yeah. There were plenty of headers that didn't require saving.
Yeah. A couple of decent pot shots from Bruno and Mbeumo.
Yeah.
But that's not... They should be the bottom tier of the chances you have in a game like that.
Yeah.
They should be. And I was thinking, if you remember the Leeds game, Southampton game. Southampton went down to 10 men really early on at Old Trafford. And, I'm not saying that you can directly compare the two because that Southampton team got relegated and were pretty dreadful, and this Everton team have got some quality players. But when a team goes down to 10 men early on, it's basically a training exercise. Here's your chance to put your idea out there of how, with very little interaction with the opposition, what is your ideal game plan and how do you win this game?
Yeah.
The Southampton game finished 9-0 to United because the issues that United side had were when the opposition is very organised and the opposition knows exactly what they're doing, and they sort of ran out of ideas at times. The issue that this United team have seems to be that they don't have that idea.
No, they can't. It seems to be when we have more of the ball, we don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, they can't impose themselves on a game. They can't. Like Everton should have come out of that game absolutely knackered. Even if they'd won 1-0, they should have come out of it absolutely knackered. They should have been thinking, we really rode our luck at times today, because because when a team has 10 men for 80 minutes, they shouldn't be able to. It should be completely at the mercy of luck for some of those chances because of the sheer numbers involved. But instead, it was, win your aerial duels and don't give away the ball in stupid positions, and you'll probably be fine.
Yeah, and and this is probably partly because I'm looking at it from a United point of view, but. Yeah. You don't come away looking at the Everton team and thinking, to a man, they didn't put a foot wrong and they all put their body on the line for the team. They had to grind it out. You just think, well, they just dealt with our attack, our feeble attacks. They headed them away. And
I saw a review from possibly Laurie Whitwell who said every Everton player defended well. And I thought, well, I can't really remember any Everton player doing any good defending.
No,
there was no great last-ditch tackles or, like you say,
heroic blocks
or anything. Pickford was.
He did his job. They all did their jobs, but they didn't have much to do.
No, it was very sort of, like I say, comfortable for them for a long periods in that game.
Yeah,
and it's a damning indictment on the level that this United team's at the moment.
Yeah, I think the reason for me that it's not right down there as the worst United games I've seen is because Everton were poor and had 10 men. I think a half decent side with 11 men, it could have been 4-0. We played bad enough to get battered, but we didn't get battered. We had most of the ball and more chances.
Yeah.
But it was probably the most frustrating game I've ever been at, because I was just thinking, we really don't have to be very good to win comfortably here, but we didn't manage that. We didn't even manage to draw the game.
Yeah, by the midway through the second half, I was thinking, right, we'll get a point. We'll get a goal here. We might not be able to win, but at least we're not going to lose another home game. And then it just never came, and the whistle went, and it just drifted away from us. It's like when a team, gets to Christmas and they realise they're within touching distance of the bottom four, and they just can't do anything about it. Yeah. It's like United got to 70 minutes and they thought, hang on, we're going to lose this game.
Yeah.
We need to change something.
It's not happening.
But they don't have that ability to change something. Yeah. They don't have the impetus there.
Yeah, and I've seen two schools of thought about it. I've seen, the manager's made mistakes during his time here, and maybe his system isn't perfect, but that result is on the players. They should be able to beat Everton players. And then I've also seen the manager set that team up. The manager didn't take any risks at all against 10 men. He left 3 centre-backs on. He made like-for-like changes. He didn't go gung-ho, even though they had 10 men, and we didn't tire them out or anything.
No.
So I don't know where I stand. As usual, it's probably a bit of both.
Yeah, I mean, he had a lot of faults, Erik ten Hag, but if that's an Erik ten Hag game, you've got 6 attackers on. You've got Eriksen playing at centre-back. You've got Anthony playing at full-back. They're throwing the ball forward with every opportunity. And it might not work, but at least it feels like there's a bit of desperation to get a result there. Yeah. I saw someone saying, De Ligt said United didn't have the patience to play through the lines, but I think they were far too patient.
Yeah.
They weren't desperate enough. They had to, that was going to be, you have to make it difficult for Everton. You have to throw everything at them. You can't just expect to get a goal by the virtue of them defending and having fewer players. You have to earn it, and we weren't ready to work to earn it.
Yeah, and I saw Michael Cox from The Athletic say, I don't know why, when opposition go down to 10 men so soon, managers don't react to it straight away.
Yeah, make 2 changes.
Your task is different now. And if you go down to 10 men, there's no shame in taking an attacker off for a defender because you've got a different job to do.
Yeah.
Take a defender off. Put an extra attacker on to force home the advantage because they're going to be defending more and attacking less. So surely we can cope with that. With 1 less defender, we don't need 3 centre-backs against a side who aren't going to attack us.
No.
And even if they might have still scored a goal, but
we would have been more likely to score one in return.
Yeah, we could have really gone for it, and we just didn't. And part of that is personnel. Like you say, there was no great attacking options on the bench. He did bring on the ones we had in Mount and, who else did he bring on?
He brought on Mount
and Dalot. There was no striker on the bench, really.
No. There was Shea Lacey on the bench, that would have been it. But it's not they always talk about environment and the environment you bring a player into, and but against the incumbent defence where he's not going to have to do any track back,
some risks.
He might have a pot shot or something,
Yeah.
They weren't saying that when they brought Angamoa on at Newcastle and he scored the winner.
They were playing against 10 men,
Yeah.
Even in the last 5 minutes, take a defender off.
Yeah, just try something. Just try. Like, it's not like we're in a position where, obviously we're not in a position where we're fighting over every single point to win a trophy. But we're also not in the position where we can afford to not try desperately to win every game.
Yeah.
It's not like we can say, over the course of a season it'll work itself out. He's not got enough credit in the bank to do that, the manager. He has to be more desperate to win a game.
Yeah.
He should be feeling more pressure to win that game. And maybe that's coming from above, and maybe they think that's helpful. But it's at the moment, it seems to be a sort of apathy and a sort of acceptance of losing games, where we'll win some games, we'll lose some games. And you can sort of accept that if they are trying desperately to win it and they happen to lose it, or things don't fall the right way. But just to be like, well, we'll keep trying the same thing, and if we don't win, then it's not the end of the world. That's a dreadful state of affairs. That's a position United should never be in.
Yeah, and it did seem like, I don't think the players or the manager would outwardly be okay with losing the game, but from what we saw on the pitch, it seems like they didn't care that much, which is not good to see at all. We were obviously missing Cunha and Tesco from the start, and you could tell.
Yeah.
You could absolutely tell. Xerxes hasn't started a game in a long time before that, and he's never been a number 9, really.
He's not a prolific one, one that's ever scored any number of goals.
No, we've played him there a few times. We used to swap him around with Højlund a bit in that position, but he's always been better slightly further back.
With someone else to put the ball in there.
Yeah. But we didn't have that option because Sesko's injured and Cunha's injured. So we had to play with Mazraoui at wing back, which, again, is a defensive player.
Yeah.
I know you've said before that you never like it when we play fullbacks at wing back. Certainly not on both sides.
No. But he wants to play Ahmad further forward rather than playing. But see, this is the sort of change you could make when they go down to 10 men.
Yeah.
You might not want to play Ahmad. You might not want to play Bruno further forward because he's not as rangy. He doesn't run as much as stretch the play as much as Mount or Mbeumo does in that position. But when they've got 10 men and they're sitting back, put Bruno further forward and put someone else in midfield.
Yeah.
You don't need to keep Bruno in that defensive. You don't need to keep Bruno in that defensive position when they've got adapt to the game a bit more.
Yeah.
It's one thing to have a set style and try and impose it onto every game, but there's very little evidence to suggest that that's a good idea with this style. Even if maybe one day it is, at the moment, changing things up is a good way of getting. We've won games where the sort of plan has gone out the window because it's just about having quality. And we do have quality.
And sometimes, and I know this is the last manager in the world who's going to do this, but sometimes for one game, you can forget the system and do what it takes to win the game. But Amorim is just not going to do that. No,
he seems to be very anti that. There's a few stats I've seen that are I think will depress a lot of United fans.
Yeah.
So that was our 12th league win in the 12 months that Amorim has been manager.
What was?
No, sorry. We've had 12 league wins in the 12 months that Amorim's been the manager. That's not very many.
No. One a month is pretty shocking.
Average, especially when you have a month off in the summer.
That's true, actually, yeah.
So
does that mean it's more than one a month?
Yes, it does. But 3 of them were in the last month.
Yeah.
So before that, it was even worse.
Yeah.
Everton had more minutes for United Academy players last night than United have all season. In Ghana and Michael Keane.
Yeah.
They played.
They also started
2 United Academy graduates, and none of them started all season. And then a more long-term one I saw is that in United's previous 164 games, which is going back to the day Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was appointed,
right,
we have a goal difference of +4. Right. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first game was 5-1. So if you ignore that, our goal difference for the last 5 years is 0.
7 years.
7 years is 0. On average, we have, for every goal we've scored, as Manchester
United Football Club we're talking about.
For 7 years, for every goal we've scored, we've conceded 1.
Yeah, that is appalling.
That's 4 managers. That's what,
different styles
60
of play.
60 players.
Yeah, Countless different players.
Yeah. And
we've had some success in that time, which shows how bad the bad bits
gone
have
up
been,
and down,
really.
yeah, but nothing has moved the needle. We've not.
Yeah.
I think the average quality of those 4, is it 4 eras? We won't count Ranić as an era, but of the 3, of the Ollie, Ten Hag and Amorim era, the average is just neutral. It's just the
you
baseline.
win some, you lose some.
Yeah, and that's such a. And but like I don't know what the answer is, because you can't keep getting higher up. You could say, well, it isn't the coach, right? But we've also changed every exec and the owner.
Yeah,
or the owner who's making the decisions.
And that's not going to. Well, you never know, but I don't think we're going to change that again soon.
No,
that's Ineos are here for the long term.
Yeah, you can't. So. That's not a reliable. That's not a feasible response to something going wrong. Is change the owner again? Like something has to work, and we've seen. I think the squad did improve in the summer.
Yeah, I think our recruitment has improved.
The players that have come in, but nothing's moved the needle so far in terms of actually getting better results consistently on the pitch. It's just nothing that no decision they make is doing it.
Yeah. We really do a good job of being so much more existential when United lose.
Yeah. We could talk about the actual game.
We could do, but that was just so bad that it asks so many more questions.
Yes.
And changes the feeling so much than if it would have been an even game. They had 11 men, they played well, and we played well, and we narrowly lost it.
Yeah.
That was absolutely appalling and unforgivable.
Yeah, it was just a prove to us that you can do it, and prove to us this is the perfect opportunity to turn up.
Yeah, the minimum expectation from that was to win the game.
Yeah,
before the game, we were expecting to win the game, and we should have won the game. After they'd gone down to 10 men, there's no excuse for not winning the game.
What do you make of the red card?
I mean, it's farcical. It's quite funny. I was looking forward to it when I saw. I mean, I didn't see what happened because it'd gone out for an Everton goal kick. I wasn't intently watching what they were talking about. I just saw a red card and had no idea what it was for, really. So I was looking forward to watching it back.
Yeah.
Hopefully with the lens of that's where it all started to go wrong with Everton.
Yeah, really strange situation.
Yeah.
Have there been sort of 3 or 4 ever players having violent conduct against their own players?
Yeah, I mean, there's only one I know of in the Premier League where they were sent off, and they were both sent off for that, which was Kieran Dyer and Lee Bowyer for Newcastle. Yeah. And that, when you watch that, it was quite clearly Lee Bowyer attacking Kieran Dyer, and he held him off for a bit and then joined in.
Just had a scrap.
Yeah, and they filmed a really weird staged video of them shaking hands, which was just weird.
Yeah. The other name mentioned on the telly was Ricardo Fuller.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, that does ring a bell for Stoke.
Which I had no memory of.
I feel like I've seen it on probably a YouTube compilation of the daftest red cards. There's been a few sort of incidents. There was Lloris and Son a couple of years ago, but they don't normally lead to a red card.
Yeah, didn't someone headbutt Alan Pardew?
Alan Pardew headbutted an opposition player.
Oh, yeah,
from the touchline, which is,
also crazy.
It's also quite
not
unusual.
Quite the same kettle of fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you say, it should have been. I was at that point. I was thinking, this is perfect. This we can get a couple of goals, get a debut for Lacey, get Mainoo on, get some minutes in the players. This is exactly what we need. This should be a cakewalk.
Yeah,
and
I made the mistake before the game of being confident of a win, which happens very rarely the last couple of seasons, and came back to bite me. But it was probably a slightly harsh red. It was quite innocuous when you watch it back.
Yeah. But
usually if you raise your hands to someone's face, it's a red card. Should the bar be higher if it's on your own teammate?
Probably, yeah. So the rule states that it's any contact with the face, unless it's, I can't remember the exact word they use. I think it's maybe it's negligible or innocuous.
Yeah.
It's basically a word that the referee can use to decide not to send someone off if they don't think it's enough. I think that discretion probably could have been used last night to say, or just ask. But this is the thing. After it happened, they both were still really annoyed. Keane didn't go to the didn't plead with the referee and say, "Oh, we didn't mean it. We didn't mean it."
Keane told. I mean, it seemed like when the red card came out, Keane was basically saying, "What on earth are you doing? Use your head. What have you done? You've got sent off there." And Gay was absolutely fuming about that. And I don't dread to think what he would have done if Pickford didn't haul him off the pitch.
Yeah, a very odd situation, and one that we should have capitalised on.
Yeah.
Not too much longer, too much later, and they scored.
Yeah, it was an all right goal. It was quite weak defending, not great goalkeeping.
No, it was poor from the keeper. I saw it was great. As is often the case, it's a Twitter account who had tweeted about it a long time ago, and then went. I mean, you only see the ones where they go back and are proven right, but he's got a bit of he's got an odd starting stance, Lamans, for this sort of shot, where his arms are sort of tucked behind his back a little bit. They're right down, his knees are in, and he's not able to react and throw his arm up quick enough.
Yeah.
And the point that this Twitter account was raising was saying this is a great opportunity to coach a weakness out of a player.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen at United. United don't seemingly have the infrastructure in place to identify a weakness in a player and improve them. And it's such an odd state of affairs.
Yeah, we also never seem to sort of adapt a player's game into playing a slightly different role or like a slightly different position.
No.
Where the manager or coaches see something in them and think, I think you'd be better off at this role. With United never seem to do that, repurpose players. No,
the best case scenario is that they are exactly as good as they were when we signed them. Really, they don't generally get better.
No,
a lot of them get worse.
Yeah,
but Lamans, we're not calling him out.
Yeah, that's the kind of mistake I'm fine with him making for now because he's not a finished article. He's a young keeper in a new league.
Yeah. I think it's worth mentioning that it's an opportunity to identify a weakness because it is a habit, it's a learned behaviour. He does it for a lot of those shots, and it's a fixable thing. If he can improve his starting position for those shots, it's a mental thing. Then he's got a much better chance of saving them.
Yeah,
that should be something that the 4 goalkeeper coaches we have or something should be able to look at on a Tuesday morning and say, right, we're going to work on this. We're going to drill this, and get it out of his game. Whether that will happen, we don't know.
Yeah. But it was the kind where you say the keeper could have done better there, rather than that is an absolute howler from the goalkeeper, which is what we're used to saying.
Yeah, so it's not a howler. It's just an annoying goal to concede.
Yeah.
Especially when, like you say, they weren't trying. They didn't try very hard to score.
No. They didn't create any great chances. They didn't have to.
No.
Their XG after that goal was 0.
Yeah.
So, but why would you? Why would you have a shot when you're winning the game and the opposition are doing nothing to change that?
Barry won 14 aerial duels or something in that game, the most of any player this season. And that was his job. His job was, we're going to get the ball away from our goal, keep it away from our goal. You don't have to try and score a goal, but just try and stop them getting the ball back to us quite as quickly.
Yeah.
And we let them do it.
Yeah.
So often we let the opposition decide how a game's going to go and are powerless to change it.
Yeah.
Like, in so many ways as well, not just tactically, but sort of in the mood of a game. If a team sets out to waste time and wind the ref up, we'll wind the ref up back. We won't calm things down. We'll just sink to that level.
We won't take that out of the game. Yeah.
We won't take this thing out of the game. If a team wants to, like you say, waste time, United will just let them.
Yeah.
They won't. Right, we need to not make sure that if we're not going to have a good chance, make sure you don't give the ball back to Everton. They'll just waste the ball. They'll just let Everton take it off them and give them a goal kick and reset to 0 and think there's no smarts there. There's no maturity.
Yeah, so many chances that ended in goal kicks. Like statistically, I don't know how we didn't have more corners just from poor decision making.
Yeah.
And it seemed like every attack ended with a pass, so it was just slightly overhit or slightly underhit, so a defender could quite easily nip in and get the ball. And I just don't know what was up with our players for a lot of the game. They just
it's an odd one.
Obviously the fact that the attack has changed slightly with Xerxes coming in. They're not as accustomed to each other, but they look like they'd never met.
Yeah, and it's not a problem that other teams have.
No.
That as players come in and players go out, the entire structure and ability of the team fluctuates.
Yeah.
It's not like we had 8 changes from our last game, you should be able to swap out 1 or 2 players with different attributes who can do different things, but you should be confident enough in your own system to make it work with whichever players get put in there, rather than the system only working when the exact right players are in exactly the right positions and doing exactly the right thing.
Yeah. It's I don't really know what more to say about the game. It was absolutely dire, and it's a curse the fact that I've started a podcast this season because I didn't want to talk about that game ever again, basically.
Yeah.
But I've created a scenario where I have to talk about it. So.
Yeah, it's very much the one where, previously we would have I'm not going to watch the highlights, I'm not going to watch Match of the Day, I'm not going to listen to any podcasts, I'm just going to move on with my life and pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah, we can't do that
quite
anymore.
do that. But we'll get...
So maybe we should knock all this on the head,
Maybe. It's still early days, And maybe we'll... Imagine when you get to watch United and they are good. Right?
Yeah.
I don't want to get too existential, but there's always the thought in the back of your head of, do they need to make a big change? Is making a big change going to make a difference? Is
anything ever
going to make a difference?
Oh, United just cursed.
Yeah, it's been exactly a year to the day. It's 20. It
was yesterday. It was a year to the day.
Yes,
since Amram's first game.
I don't think there's anybody arguing that it's too small a sample size anymore.
No, like a lot of managers get sacked after less than a year. Again, we're not saying we think he should be sacked. Right
no,
now,
I'm more considering whether he might be sacked.
Right.
The noise around the club has always been very. We've got no plans on changing the manager,
and I think that'll stay the same for a bit yet.
Yeah, I think we've got a good way left to fall this season. We're still in the top half for now. We're now
level on points with Everton, who again I spent the whole last week saying were a poor side.
Yeah, but Everton are now above Liverpool, which is funny.
That is funny.
So there's still a ways to fall. I'm all for having patience, but I do wonder if we aren't in the mess we are as a club by not acting more like a big club and having the higher expectations. And maybe it's impossible. Maybe you can't demand to win the league every year and then force sack a manager when they don't win the league. But there are very, very few clubs of similar stature who would give a manager a year with this form. Real Madrid are top of the league, and there's talk of them getting rid of Alonso.
Yeah. And I don't want us to be that club. I want us to be a club that gives managers time.
Yeah.
I do. But you give the right managers time.
Yes. I think they seem to be... the belief is that teams that are good and clubs that are successful don't change their manager all the time. Therefore, the way to be successful is to not change your manager all the time. And I think that's sort of misleading logic. And
you don't change your manager because you've got a good manager.
Yeah. And the example that most easily comes to hand is the Arteta situation.
Yeah.
Because they were really bad. They were poor.
They finished 8th twice.
Yeah. And I remember we had a conversation in which I said, surely they'll sack him. And you said, I think they'll keep him. I think they'll be good under Arteta.
Oh, it doesn't sound like me. Yeah.
I think you called it. And
right.
Maybe not they'll be good, but I think you said, I don't think they're as bad. And they...
Yeah. Because in this third season, they missed out on the Champions League again. They finished 5th.
Yeah. And
then at that point, it was still, are they going to sack him now? Even though they'd got a lot better from where they were.
But they believed that the way out of where they were, which was the joke of a club that...
the banter era.
Yeah, they finished below Spurs 6 years in a row. Which is, now that Arsenal are a good side again, it sort of is a distant...
And for so long before that, they finished above Spurs.
It's baffling that they finished below Spurs 6 years in a row. But their belief that the way out of that was to get the right coach and stick with them. And it's worked. They're not a joke club. They got to the Champions League semi-finals. They've
come second in the Premier League
3 years in a row. They're not a joke club. They haven't won a big trophy, But that's the last thing that's on the list to do. And that some people will argue that until you do that, you haven't achieved anything. But they were behind us then, and now they are miles ahead of us again.
Yeah.
And Liverpool were behind us, and Liverpool are miles ahead of us. And they're back behind us now
in the league.
The fact
in terms of the state of the club,
the fact that they are, all the noises are they're more likely to change the manager than we are.
When they won the league
last season, I think there's just the joined up thinking, or the idea is sound, but the execution is just not working.
Yeah.
And the idea of getting young players and signing cheaper players on lower contracts that you can improve and mitigating the risk, it's all the right idea, and it's not bearing out on the pitch. It is just not.
Yeah.
We won 3 games in a row. We went 5 games unbeaten. That should be winning 3 games out of 5 shouldn't be enough. That shouldn't be the bar. The bar should be even higher than that. So the fact that is the best it's ever been under this manager, and now it's not even that anymore. Now we've lost again.
Now we're 3 games without a win.
Yeah, we spoke of when the Forest result happened. Is this, a draw in the middle of a good period of form, which is fine, or a
draw at the start of a bad period of form?
Yeah, it looks like it's going one way rather than the other.
Yeah,
Forest. I think the Forest result has improved in hindsight because Forest
looked quite.
Yeah, Forest were the 19th in the league at the time. That seems to have been somewhat of a false position. They should climb up now. The Spurs result, I think, has got worse
because they were 4th in the league at the time, and that looks like a false position.
Yeah, now they look awful. They were so bad against Arsenal.
Yeah,
and we sort of went 1-0 up and let them play their way into the game.
Yeah, I think with Arteta, to sort of compare Amorim and Arteta, I think the belief probably at both clubs was the next manager that comes in will have to ride out the storm. There will be a bad period, and that would happen with whoever we appointed.
Yeah.
But if we get the right manager, once we've got through that and we've sorted everything out and we give him the tools to succeed, he will.
Yeah.
I think, and I don't know these statistics, but I'm sure there were plenty of statistics that were all going in the right direction in those first few years under Arteta. We're demonstrably getting better at all of these things on the pitch, and the league form is tracking that. We are slowly getting better, and there is a view here that we will ultimately keep getting better with better players, and we'll get up to that top level. And I don't know if that's the case currently at United.
Yeah.
We have got better. We are better this season than last season.
Yes.
Amorim, is another example of Amorim being brutally honest, where he said, well, I was thinking when we were winning these games that maybe we weren't actually that good, and now I'm worried that we were as bad as we were last season.
Yeah.
Like, are you sure that's what you want to go with?
Yeah, there are a few arrows that are pointing in the right direction. But all of them have their own issues. So you have been historically, sort of last 5 years, been awful at pressing and winning the ball back out of the pitch, and all of these metrics and passes per defensive action and things like that, where we don't have that aggression going forward. And we're now up near the top for those stats. We are a great pressing side for the first 65 minutes of a game.
Yeah,
it's unsustainable. Once the team changes, once the subs happen, all of that falls away.
Yeah.
So then you think, well, maybe we need to be fitter, but we're already one of the fittest teams. We get no injuries. That's another thing that's improved.
Yeah,
and
massively.
Credit needs to go to the coaching staff for that, and the analytics and the data science team. The injuries have massively dried up.
And part of that is probably because we're not in Europe.
Yeah, that does help. But we would get so many training injuries and things like that under Eric Ten Hag because of the way that the training was working. The training now seems to be around getting the players in the position where they can play, and that's the most important thing. But again, it's sort of diminishing returns now, where they've got all the players fit, they've got all the time to do what they need to, and they're not winning the games.
Yeah.
So they don't even have an excuse there anymore.
Yeah.
In terms
and now we've got 2 injuries, and we look a mess.
Yeah.
So if we had the level of injuries we had before,
Yeah,
dread
absolutely.
to think what we would look like.
We're nowhere near as bad as we were in the season that Erik ten Hag didn't get sacked, the middle Erik ten Hag season.
Yeah.
That season was the worst United team in the Premier League.
You think worse than last season?
Yeah, I think so. We were having the number of shots against us were like the 19th or 20th most, at least in 20th
most.
least.
No. Oh.
Yeah, the most.
But the most.
Yeah, we had relegation numbers for basically every defensive metric, and we managed to get 8th in the league.
Yeah, and when you look at it, what the history books will show is 8th in the league, won the FA Cup.
Yeah.
So,
but in terms of the actual,
to not think about how bad we were.
In terms of the actual game on the pitch, every game was thank God we didn't concede that chance every 5 minutes. We had ridiculous defensive numbers. That team. I don't think this team is that bad. As in, they are bad. I don't think they're as bad as that team.
Yeah.
But that isn't the bar, and that team managed to mask poor performances with quality and a trophy at the end of the season. There's very little chance of this team doing that. Yeah. So, in terms of the minds of the fans and the minds of the wider footballing world, it doesn't matter that those metrics have improved if there's nothing there to base it off, to see on the pitch that's tangible.
Yeah, it's hard to see where we go from here. Well, we might as well talk about it now while we're on the topic of what happens next.
Yeah.
Because it's now after that game last night, and I don't want to seem like we always do this and we overreact to United losses, but now that after that game, you look ahead and you think Palace away next is a tough game. Palace are a well-coached side, and we've not won there in a few years. Sesko and Cunha are out, and we look a lot worse without them. And Ahmad and Burmo and Mazraoui are all going to be leaving and missing like 5 games over the Christmas period.
Yeah.
And that is cause for concern.
Yes, it is,
definitely. Looking at the fixture list. Because before last night, there was no reason why we couldn't go on a run of wins. And now it's really reframed given how bad last night was.
Yeah, I think it's where this team is. I think you will learn more about them against the teams that we have coming up than we did against Liverpool and Chelsea and Spurs and that period that we've come through where we've done well.
Yeah.
That's not the sort of game that we can judge this team's longevity on. I think we'll always be able to turn up Anfield, and it doesn't take a great United side to turn up at Anfield and get a 2-1 win against
a not great Liverpool side,
or to beat that Chelsea side when they go down to 10 men.
Yeah.
But what a great team does is they look at this run ahead of them and they say, there's no way we're getting anything less than 15 points.
Yeah.
I think if we get anything near 15 points, then
you'd be very happy.
I'd be very happy. Yeah. I think this is the period that will define. This sort of period defines the actual quality of the United side.
Yeah.
And I'm intrigued to see how it goes.
Yeah. If we go through the games like before Christmas, is Crystal Palace away?
Yeah.
Are you confident of a win there?
No, but when we were coming up through the period that we've just come through, and we were thinking, we can beat Everton. Yeah, you see Everton at home, you think we'll win that, and then Palace away. Well, if we beat that, we've got 4 or 5 wins. We're in good form. We should beat them. Good teams will go to Palace and win this season. It's not like a fortress.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we are that team.
Yeah. Then it's West Ham at home. West Ham.
That's about as easy as it comes. That.
Well, they're better than they were, and we lost at home to West Ham last season when they finished 17th. So I can't say I'm confident of a win. We'll see what happens at Palace, and then that gets reframed again. West Ham at home is it seems to me much more winnable than Palace away.
Yeah.
And then it's Wolves away. Everyone should beat Wolves at home and away.
Yeah.
It's
they
annoying
might
that
be
they've
the
changed
worst
their
team
manager.
of all time.
They've changed their manager. They could get better. They didn't in time for this weekend.
But it was
but
early days.
By the time we play them. Then it's Bournemouth at home, who again, all of these home games really, we should be winning. We've got Wolves and Newcastle at home after Christmas. we should be winning them. But after last night, when we absolutely were expected to win comfortably in the game and we lost, I do feel my confidence for these games is just completely gone. Which, it was one game, and that shouldn't be the case. But I am probably a pessimist at heart, so I don't feel good about this run now.
No, was it true that when we'd won 3 in a row, that it was in the back of our minds that maybe we haven't actually improved, and we're just, because maybe it is there, but you don't listen to it, and you think,
I don't want to believe that. I don't know. And we'd been so bad for so long. We wanted to enjoy it,
Yeah, that's I've always made the case that even if you think that there's something coming down the line or it's unsustainable, that you have to enjoy the wins when they come. Yeah. I'll never be one of those players those guys who thinks, oh, well, if we hadn't won that, they might have sacked the manager.
Yeah.
So, I'll never be disappointed to get 3 points. But, like I say, I think this next period coming up is it should be make or break, because there's a huge body of evidence against the manager. There's very little evidence for the manager.
Yeah.
And he needs to, what's not working? Why isn't it working? Why aren't we able to control these games?
Yeah.
And perhaps the body of evidence goes further. Maybe, the Portuguese league, you can win these games without controlling them, and you can win them with having quality. I'm not playing down the achievement. We won 3.
He did a good job.
He won 3 leagues in a row with the 3rd biggest team in Portugal. That's not, it's not quite winning the Cup Winners' Cup with Aberdeen, but it's not nothing.
Yeah.
And it's not the same as winning the Dutch league with Ajax, who by default should win the Dutch league, and if they don't, it's a failure.
Yeah.
Which they don't at the moment, but it's what we haven't seen is the ability to play like a side that can win the league.
Yeah, I mean, they were good in the Champions League under Amorim Sporting as well, and that if they were terrible in the Champions League, but really good in the league, then you might think, well, he clearly can't do it against bigger sides. But they beat City 5-0 in the Champions League.
Yeah, and 4-1 the year after.
Yeah, is that right?
Well, they beat City 4-1.
Oh, maybe
Did they beat Arsenal 5-0?
I don't know. We'll cut this out. But they definitely beat City comfortably right before he left.
Yes, that was 4-1.
Was it? I thought it was 5-0.
Yoko's got a hat-trick.
Yeah.
Maybe
no, I think Foden scored. So maybe
I think
it was
4-1.
Yeah. All right, well, ignore me. Clearly can't remember scores as well as I thought. But, that was obviously factored in.
Yeah.
That kind of result that he did get in the Champions League. So we've talked about this before, that the only real way to know if they're going to succeed in the Premier League is if they've managed in the Premier League and done well before.
Yeah.
But there was certainly enough evidence there to suggest that he could
absolutely
transfer it over.
There isn't, like we say, with talk of changing the manager, there's always talk of who do you replace him with.
Yeah.
There isn't an outstanding candidate.
No. I don't want to get into that today.
No.
I don't want to talk about too much about calling for the manager's head again. It was nice to get out of that for a while.
Yeah.
But it is one game. We'll see what happens. But it was so bad that the question. It was just as bad as it gets. I've heard this said about the way home from the football, and this podcast definitely is true of this podcast as well. That if you win, you talk about all kinds of things, and if you lose, you only talk about the football.
Yeah,
that's like we had a laugh on the podcast. We talked about funny things we saw at the match and all kinds when we were winning. But
there's a lot of
you have to really. It's so bleak when
there's a lot of
hot air
about teams that are in poor form.
Yeah.
Good result for Newcastle on Saturday.
Yeah. It's basically my perfect weekend of football results. City lost, Liverpool lost, and United didn't play.
Yeah, so, great weekend.
I wish that could happen every weekend.
An odd game. Nothing happened, and then there was 3 goals in 4 minutes, and then nothing happened again.
Yeah. City were unhappy with a few decisions.
Yeah,
I think they
particularly the offside.
Yeah,
and also Newcastle's ability to not get players booked or sent off.
Yeah,
which I saw someone. Newcastle basically are seemingly playing by a different set of rules to everyone else. Like the level of tackles that they get away with, is ridiculous.
For yellow cards,
yeah, so much higher.
There was the Foden potential penalty, which is one of them where anywhere else on the pitch, and it's obviously a foul. There's no reason it shouldn't be a foul based on the laws of the game.
Yeah.
But when a player has a shot and is then taken
wiped out, it's very
never
rarely
given as a penalty. And it probably should be. You would give a lot more penalties, and then maybe players would stop doing it.
Yeah.
But generally, that isn't a penalty. For some unknown reason.
Yeah, whatever happens to a player after they've had their shot, it's seemingly...
Just
free
even
though if you make a tackle on a player after they've made their pass, that makes it a worse tackle.
Yeah.
But if you did that before he shot, it would definitely a penalty. But after he shoots, it's fair play because you were just trying to block the shot and you ended up hitting him.
Yeah. So I can see that why you'd be annoyed if that was on your player, but that just seems to be the way it is.
Yeah,
that isn't a penalty for some reason.
City, again, they're a difficult team to read. They've got everything that the team needs to be amazing.
Yeah.
And Pep's comments about the number of games they play basically means that they have to simplify the game as much as they can.
Yeah.
And just it turns out there are ways of dealing with them. If Haaland doesn't inevitably score, he will. Then there's very little other attacking impetus in that team.
Yeah.
And a couple of good goals, and you're home free.
So I was just thinking then, who scored the goal? It was Diaz, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was that his first of the season?
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, so
it's definitely not
the case. Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
There's so much talent in that City team that it does feel a bit. I'm not, as a United fan, I'm not that upset, but it seems like it's a bit of a shame that they are sort of just willing to play quite a dull.
Yeah, I think they are a good side, and I don't think I'll read too much into that result against Newcastle in terms of the City team's credentials. I think even when they've won the league, they've had these slow starts and these periods of poor results, and then in the second half of the season they've basically won every game.
Yeah,
and I could see that happening this season, to be honest.
Yeah, possibly.
But there is an outstanding team next to him, so I don't think City will win the league, but I think they will get a lot of points, and they won't be too unhappy with where they finish. Really, I don't think they'll end up dropping down the table or anything like that.
No, I think it is a poor league this season. I think the fact that us and Spurs have been vying, have been able to get to where we are with our level of ability.
Yeah,
like Spurs were in fourth, having won one game at home all season.
Yeah.
They played away this weekend, but they
showed that they're not a great side.
No, they're not a great side away from home either. Spurs got their lowest ever XG in a game against Chelsea a couple of weeks ago, and they've since broke that record twice since then.
Yeah,
they
just create so little.
Yeah,
it's baffling. Like you sent me a stat the other week about the lowest number of through balls played, and there were the top teams had played dozens. Yeah, maybe 100.
Yeah,
and Spurs had played 4 in
that's
total.
That stat isn't completed either. That's
attempted.
Yeah, Spurs had attempted 4 through balls in the first
9
10 games of the season.
Yeah, that's just unbelievably bad. And there's other ways to create chances. You don't have to rely on through balls, but surely you do it by accident.
Yeah,
you do 3 a game, surely.
Yeah. So if you happen to pass the ball forward, there's a decent chance it gets registered as a through ball.
Yeah.
Like they're not all Kevin De Bruyne, Paul Scholes line splitting passes for a player to run onto and score. Just an overlapping fullback can be a through ball.
Yeah.
So to be so conservative to only have 4 in a season.
Yeah,
they got 0.03 XG against Arsenal.
Yeah,
which I think is probably that was just the Richarlison shot.
Right.
Which I think is quite high for that shot because it's a really difficult goal. So I think they probably could have been. Some models will probably have them lower.
Yeah.
It was a great goal.
Yeah. Is that probably the lowest XG ever recorded in the Premier League by a team who scored?
Possibly, yeah. It's probably down there. It's difficult to score, but with
it was a ridiculously good goal, and he shared it on his Instagram today.
Yeah,
which a lot of Spurs fans aren't happy about. You would be annoyed as a player that you'd scored probably one of the best goals you'll score in your career, and you couldn't share it because you lost 4-1 in the local derby. But you'd just have to be annoyed about that.
Yeah,
you wouldn't think, well, I'm still gonna, be happy with my goal, even though the result was so bad.
There was one of them, sort of both sides of that. Again, we didn't talk about in the international break because of when we recorded the Scotland-Denmark game, one of the best games I've ever seen. When McTominay scored that goal, the opener, I was really hoping. I was like, I really hope that isn't an irrelevant goal, because if they lose this game 4-1 and then never get to a World Cup, no one's that's going to go. But to score that goal as the opener in one of the most famous nights in Scottish football history, and then the other side of that was he posted that on his Instagram, and Rasmus Højlund posted "Congrats, pal" on it after he had a bit of a poor game.
He scored a penalty.
He should have scored about 3 or 4 in that first half. If I was a Danish fan who was no longer going to the World Cup because of it, I wouldn't be too happy with him congratulating his pal on his famous victory.
Yeah. Spurs are not happy with Thomas Frank. They have a lot of them have not been happy with him all season, really. They had good results at the start, and even if they didn't play amazing football, that was what they needed to be after the disaster. It's sort of
a slightly less extreme in both directions version of Liverpool.
Yeah. But now the results have sort of evaporated, and the performances have never been there. The style of football has never been there, and it seems very similar to the Nuno era, if you can call it that, at Spurs, that they seem to think that fundamentally he's not a Spurs manager, and that shouldn't be underestimated. When the fans feel like that, I think the writing's on the wall for you ultimately. I don't think he should be sacked now, and if they start winning games again, even if they're playing terrible football, the fans will begrudgingly be okay with that. But it's not. I think he's got a lot of work to do to be a successful manager at Spurs.
Yeah, it's an odd one. The concept of a Spurs manager or a
club
a manager that suits the club.
Yeah,
I think United are quite unique as a big club in that we don't really have that as a concept, or maybe we.
I think we did. I think a lot of people said Mourinho isn't a United manager.
Maybe that's the one, but
I think that was sort of skewed at United by having one manager.
This is what I mean. So
what we meant by that was he's not like Fergie.
Yeah. So like Liverpool have had a similar amount of success to United, but basically consistently. Obviously they didn't win the league for 25 or 29 years, was it, or something, by the time they won the league.
Longer than that, I think.
Maybe.
Oh no, I don't know. Yeah.
So the Premier League era, they had a long period without success, but their success historically has come spread throughout the whole of the last 70 years or something. They've got 6 Champions Leagues with 5 different managers. So I think so United's success has come at the hands of 2 men in 120 years, 140 years.
Yeah.
It's Busby and Fergie.
Yeah.
And so rather than it being a United manager as it is a Spurs manager, obviously the success levels are relative, but it's not. You're not comparing to the great history of United managers. You're comparing to two people,
specific managers. Yeah,
and so it's a much less defined thing, I think, because so much of Fergie is just Fergie. It's not that finally we've got the next Busby. We've got the person who embodies United as perfectly as Busby did.
Yeah,
it's just a club built in the image of 2 men.
Yeah,
and
do we just need a third man?
But I don't think that's. Well,
that's possible.
This makes me sort of want to throw up a bit, but I think that was Klopp. I think he was the only messianic manager that there has been since Fergie retired. I don't see another manager who has built such a sustained thing. Obviously Guardiola at City, but that's more.
They're a different club.
Yeah, that's not. City aren't Liverpool, and Liverpool and City aren't United, and it's a different thing to do it at City.
Yeah,
because of the way you can, because just everything, the nature of the relationship with the fan base and the
history.
The history. I think there hasn't been. I can't point to another manager in Premier League or European football over the last 20 years who has done that job for a club, and in another era, Klopp could have won a couple more Premier Leagues and be right up there with the best Premier League managers. He isn't.
Yeah.
He isn't put in those conversations by anyone other than Liverpool fans because he won one Premier League.
Yeah.
But he's the manager who I have seen who has done that, not to the level of Fergie, but has fit that archetype.
Yeah.
You know, there's Jose Mourinho, obviously, when he came into Chelsea, but that was
2 years.
Yeah, that burned very brightly and very quickly.
Yeah,
and
whereas
then
Klopp was there almost 10 years, which these days is a long time.
It's a very long time. But yeah, I can't see that cannot be the way forward for United, is to hire the next Alex Ferguson. It's unrepeatable.
Yeah,
you have to transition to being a modern club and to be able to fit coaches
have
into
successful managers for less long periods.
Yes. We were talking.
This is again what happens when we lose. Is everything comes back to United.
The Thomas Frank thing. I think it's odd that if you'd have said 5 games into the season, after United start, Spurs' start, and Liverpool start, that Frank and Slot would now be more likely to be sacked than Amorim.
Yeah, when you look at the fact that Slot won the league last season and Frank was only appointed in the summer, whereas Amorim finished 15th last season.
Yeah, I think, and we didn't start very well.
Yeah.
I think it says a lot about how poorly both of those two club seasons have gone, and perhaps how low the bar is at United to not get sacked at the moment.
Yeah.
Another dreadful day for Liverpool.
Yeah, it's great. I'm really enjoying it.
It's making me feel better about United, definitely.
The fact that they're below us in the table is mental. And they got handily beaten. They started all right, created a couple of chances, but Forest, they knew exactly what to do to beat Liverpool, and they did it. And it could have been 4. There was a harshly ruled out goal.
They took them to task and did, makes that 2-2 with United look. If we'd have played them 2 weeks later, maybe they would have beat us.
Yeah. And if we'd have played Liverpool 2 weeks later, maybe we would have beat them by more.
Yeah. Liverpool look so vulnerable.
Yeah.
The amount of chances they concede, the amount of goals they concede, and it's just not clicking up front. It's not.
Isak has just not done well.
No.
And a lot of that could be the fact that he had no pre-season. He didn't train all summer.
Yeah.
Because he was on strike.
Yes.
So
but if you're going to poach players and tap up players from Premier League rivals, an occupational hazard is that
the club does not want to sell them.
Occupational hazard is that they don't get to do a full pre-season.
Yeah.
You need to, and a lot of the noise around Liverpool is they needed to sign Isak
when they'd already signed
Ekitike,
who's now got worse since they signed Isak because he's playing less and he feels less valued probably.
And he's also, I think he's got away with it a bit, Ekitike, because he's massively gone off the boil.
Yeah.
And that's his job, is to, if Isak hasn't played every game, Ekitike's been given. He was starting and now he isn't starting, but he's starting some games.
Yeah.
And he's also gone massively off the boil. It's not like they're taking out an informed striker to squeeze Isak in.
They were, but
they were
now
initially. Now they've done that. Now they're both out of form.
Yeah.
This probably isn't the format to discuss it, but I don't know if enough or if too much or too little is being made of the Jota situation.
Mm-hmm.
No one really talks about it because you can't really talk about it.
No, and it feels crass for pundits to be bringing that up as maybe this is why Liverpool are bad.
Yeah, but maybe that's why Liverpool are bad. It's an emotionally draining thing. It's massively.
There's no toll on you, even if you don't realise it.
Yeah, there's no comparable example in modern football of a player actively in a squad in the Premier League. There isn't a parallel to that. I don't think we truly know the impact. I don't think it's the only thing that's having an impact, but I think it's probably being under. It's having more an effect than people are letting on.
Yeah.
Any other games you wanted to?
Well, the inevitable seems to be happening at Leeds, where it seems like Daniel Farke will be sacked, and they're just sort of been like it seemed so inevitable all season, and now it seems like it will happen.
Yeah, they've been just good enough so far for him to not go.
Yeah, because Wolves, West Ham and Forest have all been so bad.
Yeah.
But now West Ham and Forest are picking up a bit.
Yeah.
Leeds do seem like
Leeds they've got 10 or 11 points.
They're around there.
I think Burnley are on 10. So none of them are adrift yet.
Yeah.
But they'll all
apart
be thinking, apart from Wolves, they'll all be thinking, how do we...
Yeah.
We could find ourselves adrift before too long.
Yeah, and Leeds seem the most likely to pull the trigger early because they've been considering it since they got promoted.
Yeah.
So they're just waiting for it to not seem
too
harsh.
soon. Yeah.
But it will be just the most, I don't know, boring sacking of all time. Well, that was obviously going to happen.
Yeah. Who do you think they'll get? They won't.
I don't think Postecoglou would, like before the start of the season, I could see Postecoglou getting the Leeds job. Now that he's had the Forest job in the middle done terribly, been sacked, I don't think that would be the case.
Yeah, I think Postecoglou might be the guy who you get in the Championship. And
maybe.
Let them like Bielsa, where you have that amazing season where you
play really amazing
because
football.
you play this, rock and roll football, and you win. You win games 15-0, and you're playing against rubbish teams a lot of the time, so you can get away with being so open.
Yeah.
And then you come up and you beat some big team, and you think we'll just carry on.
Yeah, and then you get sacked.
Yeah. I think that would be a more likely thing to happen. I don't think Postecoglou would go there now and then get relegated and then stay.
So maybe once they sack whoever they bring in who doesn't keep them up.
Yeah. I don't know. What's his name?
Allardyce.
Javi Gracia.
No, he's back at Watford.
Is he?
Leeds have already tried him once, failed, and now he's back at Watford.
Allardyce is too old.
But they could. I mean, it
too
was
early
Leeds.
in the season.
Leeds were the team who brought him out of retirement to keep him up, and he didn't. And that was the one relegation
it's
on his
too
CV.
early in the season for an Allardyce appointment as well.
Yeah.
It's
all of those managers, I think, are out of the game now. Pardew and
I reckon Warnock could give you another one last dance.
Was it Plymouth?
Maybe.
He didn't do well. I think he's had his last dance and then a few more dances after that.
Yes.
Steve Bruce was at Blackpool until this season.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Oh, I know who's a free. Who's just resigned his post as the manager of the Reggae Boys. Steve McLaren. And his Hair Island. Get him in. He could do a great job.
No, he couldn't.
He's got He's been to the Caribbean. He's got a tan. He's got all of his stresses have gone away. I think he's.
Oh, I don't think his stresses have gone away at all. It sounds like it was a shambolic environment, which is why he resigned after they didn't qualify.
Yeah, all they had to do was beat Curaçao, and they
the last game
drew with them.
Yeah,
very poor form.
Curaçao managed by another former Premier League manager who saved the team from relegation
Dick
and
Advocaat.
has the best name in the world.
Yeah. What's his brother? Isn't he got a brother called
Knob
or something?
You're getting confused with my other favourite football fact, which is Martin Jol has two brothers. One's called Dick and one's called Cock.
Oh yeah, that is a great fact.
Yeah.
But it's a different Dick.
About a different Dutch manager.
Yes. Yeah. We've lost our train of thought.
We have Leeds.
Yeah,
I don't know who they'll get. I think they'll go down.
Probably. They need to start picking up some points.
Yeah.
If they're going to do anything.
Sharpish. So yeah, Palace on Sunday, 12 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah, away again.
Yeah, we've got all the best kickoff times at the minute. I didn't even realise that Wolves away is on a Monday.
Yeah.
As well as having two home games on Mondays and a home game on a Thursday. I mean, the West Ham one has to be midweek.
Yeah.
They're all Tuesday and Wednesday apart from us, which is Thursday. I don't think Thursday is particularly the worst game.
No.
We're used to playing on Thursdays the last few seasons. But 3 Monday kickoffs in like
2
less
months.
than a month.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Is
most clubs go 1 year to the next without a Monday kickoff.
Yeah, It's Everton and Crystal Palace seem to make up most of the Monday night kickoffs.
Like typically there's like 5 a year, maybe a Monday night kickoff.
No, I think there's more than that. But we never play them.
No, that's true.
And I'm not a fan of them, to be honest.
No, I mean it's not. If it feels like a waste of having to go to the game after work. If it's not a European night.
Yeah, and it's
like,
on the worst weekday, which is a Monday.
Like Wednesday night, Thursday night, you don't mind, and you're playing in Europe.
Yeah.
You don't mind going out into the cold for a big occasion.
Yeah.
To just play another league game on a Monday night.
Yeah.
It's such a waste of having to do that when you could play Saturday afternoon and then
and
be sunny. And
obviously compounded yesterday by how bad it was.
Yeah, it doesn't help when it's awful.
And it's annoying that when we've started recording a podcast on a Monday, suddenly we're playing on Mondays every week.
I know.
So yeah,
God works in mysterious ways.
Yes, but we're not playing on Monday this weekend.
Yeah. God / the Premier League supercomputer.
Fixture computer spits out the fixtures.
Yeah. And then everyone always complains about how they're not random.
Random, is it? No.
No one's claimed they're random.
They have to factor in so many things that it's basically done by people at that point. There is a certain element of it that's done by a computer, but there are so many other considerations that it's not random.
It's like at secondary school when they have to do the timetables. It's just there's so many factors you have to line up, and then it's inevitably people who are unhappy.
Double maths on a Monday. Are we gonna watch at the pub 12 o'clock on a Sunday? I'm busy actually.
What are you doing?
Oh, I've got friends over. They might have left by 12 o'clock on a Sunday.
You can tough them out.
Oh, you don't have to leave right now,
Yeah, you can stay if you want.
If they're listening, which I don't believe they are. Obviously, you're welcome to stay as long as you like on Sunday. It's probably best if you stay till after the United game, so I can't watch it.
Yeah, we'll make
talk
arrangements
about it next Monday. Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I'm not too confident, but United seem to surprise us a lot. So
they do. We
put in a surprisingly bad performance yesterday, so maybe we'll do a surprisingly
we'd never make it as tipsters.
No,
we're not great at reading the form book.
No,
but we'll see what happens. I think there's every chance we win, but also maybe we lose 4-0.
Yeah.
Was it?
And that's this kind of insight you tune in for.
Was it Palace? There was a 4-0 against Palace, was there?
We drew 0-0 there last season, and 4-0. We lost 4-0 away this season.
Is that the infamous Goldbridge stream where he says
3-0 to Palace? People have been saying I've been nonsense
kids. 3-0 to Palace.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's not another one of them, and we can come out with some brighter things to talk about.
Yeah, I hope so.
We don't like doing them all doom and gloom.
No.
We much prefer doing them when it's nice and cheery.
Yeah.
But it does sort of suit our aesthetic and our timbre.
Yeah, I suppose.
To be a little bit more morose.
Yeah, I'm not used to being cheery. I'm not the cheeriest guy, just generally. So.
No.
Not that I'm miserable. Well, I am miserable in a sense. Like
it's sort of. I'm not going to use the word performative, but it's your brand.
Yeah. I'm not like unhappy.
No.
With my lot in life. I just
a bit of a misery guts as opposed to. You're not melancholy.
No. But yeah, maybe I'll be cheery next week.
We'll see.
We'll see. Thank you for listening. Sorry about that TikTok clip that I promised you last week, but there'll be more on the horizon at some point. I'm sure.
Thanks to everyone who has told me that they listen. I think that's probably everyone who listens has told me that they listen. But no, I was checking the data. We do have someone who listened once in Brazil.
Wow.
Maybe Don Carlo,
Yeah, Casemiro's dad or something.
Yeah, Mr. Casemiro. That would be nice. We'll see.
Well, we've just had the international break, so it could have been
actual Casemiro.
Mateus Cunha or Casemiro.
Yeah, flew all the way out there, downloaded it. And we'll see. I'll keep an eye on them for any more international listeners. But in the meantime, spread the word.
Yes.
Let people know.
Yep. And keep tuning in yourselves. Sorry, the mood's been a bit the mood of the sign off is as flat as the welcome to the episode. I set the tone early and we've maintained it.
Yeah.
But thank you for listening, and we'll see you out there.